Hello, I'm here today to talk you out of buying some makeup. If you've been tempted by all these new makeup releases, these limited holiday editions, you're not alone. They're everywhere. It's that time of year, but we don't all have unlimited funds. You may be trying to save some money or figure out what's really worth it from what's not, and that's what this video's for. I found myself thinking as I was looking through all of these new releases, trying to figure out what I was going to buy to test out and review for you, that some of these are just hard passes. And I was asking myself, why are we even thinking about some of these? I know it's personal preference, but those are just some thoughts that went through my head, so I thought I would run through some of these products with you today and share what I think you shouldn't buy. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Now, my friend Charlotte Holcroft does a video series all about this, and I think it's really great. So I'm going to link it down below so you can check it out after you finish this video. She's based in the UK, and she's just a lot of fun to watch and listen to, and she gives a lot of detail in her videos too. And if you don't already follow her, I think you'll really enjoy her channel and her content. Okay, so let's get into these products that caught my eye as just being things that you just don't need. Let's go ahead and talk about this tempting, beautiful Gucci concealer. Look at this packaging. It's absolutely stunning. And now I wanted to talk about this first because I have experience with this one. This isn't something that I was deciding whether or not I wanted to buy it. I've already wear tested it, reviewed it, and I have a verdict on it in one of my recent concealer roundup videos. So I'm just going to give you a summary of why I think you might want to pass on this particular luxury concealer. But if you want my full review of it and some other new concealer releases, I'll have that video linked up in a card and in my top pinned comment and my description box as well. So you can check it out after you finish this video if you are looking for new concealers. For reference, I'm 48 with dark circles, and I have dry under eyes with fine lines and texture. So this had everything I was looking for based on the description: medium to full buildable coverage, supposed to be lightweight and hydrating and stay put, and it has some really nice ingredients in it too. However, I found it to be medium coverage at best, even when I wore a corrector underneath. Now the finish was very nice and smoothing and pretty self-setting, but it has this kind of cream to powder finish that sometimes made my under eye area appear dry, and I even creased in some of my fine lines. And it did feel lightweight, but I never really got that hydrating feeling that they claim it has. I expected more from this concealer than what it delivered. When I'm spending this much money on a concealer, I want it to give me everything, and this just didn't do that. There are natural smoothing concealers with better coverage that hydrate more, that also have nice ingredients that cost less. So for that reason, I just think this is an easy pass. I hoped I would like this as much as I like the powder and bronzers and blushes, but it just did not do it for me. I was really excited when Gucci launched a concealer. I thought, this is going to be it. This is going to be my perfect concealer, and everyone's going to hate me because it's going to cost an arm and a leg, but it's not it. Not it for me anyway. Again, if you want to see my full thoughts, you can go check out the review, but I would say pass on this if you have any dark circles more than moderate and any kind of dryness. Because I typically get my hands on any new Estee Lauder foundation very quickly to review, I've been asked if I'm going to be reviewing the new Futurist Skin Tint Serum Foundation. I probably will, but I haven't picked it up yet. When I first saw this was going to be launched, I looked into it and I had a lot of questions. The first was the bottle. It's in this double wear looking bottle, and you know, if you're a subscriber of mine, how I feel about Estee Lauder double wear. I love it. I have videos on it. I think it's fantastic. But this is a Futurist foundation, which is a different line from what I understand, and it looks like it's part of the double wear line. So I was a little bit confused by that, especially when it only claims to have 8-hour staying power. Yet right above that, it says all day color true wear. So we have two different wear claims under the product details, which I find very confusing. And as someone who reviews foundations foundations on the regular and lives in a very, very difficult climate for keeping foundations on my face here in New Orleans. When I see 8-hour staying power as a claim, that basically is telling me it's probably going to stay on around 6 to 7 hours because, you know, when foundations say 12 hours, most times you don't really get that full 12 hours. It says it gives you an ultra natural radiant finish with light coverage and that it's sweat and humidity resistant with 8-hour staying power. And it does have, of course, skincare ingredients. It's got an 85% skincare base. I have a feeling this is not going to be great for my skin type, but I could be wrong. I have combination skin, normal on the perimeter, and can get shiny in my T-zone. And with these botanical oils and everything I'm seeing with glowy and radiant, I have a feeling my T-zone is going to be ultra glowy, but it may be great for dry skin. Even when foundations don't work out for my skin, I can usually tell you who they would work for after I test them out for a while. What really gets me about this one too is that it tells you every application helps protect against UVA and UVB damage with broad spectrum SPF 20. I can't even say that without laughing because we have a dropper bottle skin tint here. You're dropping this out, which means the texture is going to be nice and runny. You're not going to be gobbing this on your face. This is going to be a lovely skin tint that you apply, I would imagine, somewhat sheer. Think about how much sunscreen you have to apply to get adequate SPF protection. You have to apply at least that much foundation. You're not going to apply that much of this runny skin tint to your face. There's no way you're getting the SPF 20 that they say you're getting out of this skin tint. So I find that really comical. And, you know, it is SPF 20. So there's that too. I'm not really excited about this launch. It's $53. There are some really great skin tints out there already. I think you could better spend your money on that costs less than this one. Sure, I'll be reviewing it for you. Watch, I'll probably change my tune, but as of now, this is a pretty easy pass. Anastasia Beverly Hills just released 2 new mini versions of her full-size palettes. We have the Mini Modern Renaissance and the Mini Sultry palette. So these are 9-pan palettes and retail for $29, and I just think you should either save your money, not spend it on these at all, or reallocate it and spend it a little bit differently. Modern Renaissance is still available. For $16 more, you can pick up the full palette for $45 and get all 14 shades and have way more variety and get so many more looks from it. Or you could just pick up a ColourPop palette for less money than the $29 you would spend on the 9-pan palette. That would just be something I would look into. Now, Sultry was a favorite palette for many of us. It's one of my favorite Anastasia palettes, and it was limited edition. She has never re-released this palette. I'm a little unsure why she did a mini of it, and so I feel like she released this to kind of placate those of us who really liked Sultry, but I feel like she should have just re-released Sultry. So these are just 2 mini palettes that I just feel are kind of unnecessary. If you feel differently, let me know. But when I saw these, I just, again, had question marks and thought, I don't think so. Somewhat recently, Revolution Beauty launched their Bright Light Face Glow, which is yet another Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter dupe. It's one of those products that you can layer under foundation, mix it into your foundation, but on top of foundation, it comes in different shades, and it just gives you that lit from within glow, that luminous radiance. And while I do appreciate that there are options that cost less than Charlotte Tilbury, I think this one is around $12, I find myself asking, do we really need another one? We had dupes come out already months and months and months ago, and this one seemed to be the last one that released, and I just don't think it was necessary. I guess this one is more of a pet peeve thing than anything. It could be a perfectly fine product, as could any of these. I mean, obviously you can spend your money on anything you want, but how many dupes do we need of a high-end product before it's too many? I would really prefer something a little more original, I guess. I guess that's where my thought process was with this particular product. So this was just a quick little aside I wanted to put in here, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it too. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about this one and all of the dupes that have been coming out of this particular product. Each season, Tom Ford releases his limited holiday collection products, and they are always stunning. They are just beautiful, and I have fallen victim to them myself just once. I learned my lesson. I thought I could never get such products again. They were so beautiful, but you know what happened after the holiday season was over? I maybe reached for them two or three more times, and then they just sat in my drawer. Now, I know not everyone does that, but it is a very common thing that happens with these limited edition products. And I specifically want to talk about the eyeshadow palette and the two Soleil Glow highlighters. You more than likely have these shades of neutrals in this eyeshadow quad somewhere in your collection that will give you a similar look. I would almost tell you to get something entirely different, like a Natasha Denona neutrals palette for your money, rather than spend $90 on this eyeshadow quad, because each of these pieces, the eyeshadow quad and the two highlighters, they're $90 a piece. You would at least get way more of a variety with another brand and get so many more eyeshadows to play around with and more versatility. Now, the two highlighters are really beautiful, especially if you are like me and you don't like a very obvious highlighter. You just want that kind of dewy sheen that's really flattering. But chances are that if you are that type of person, you already have a couple highlighters that are tried and true for you, that you reach for, that will probably last you until you die, because the pans of highlighters, that they're big. And highlighters, let's face it, they all kind of look the same once they're on the cheek. You do not need these two as well. $90, that's just a lot of money. So when I saw this, I was just like, you know, every single year I see the Tom Ford limited edition holiday collections. And after I made that mistake years ago, I always just want to say, nope, nope, don't do it. And here I am. This is your public service announcement. You don't need that Tom Ford limited edition item. Luxury beauty brands put out some beautiful limited edition holiday collections every single year. They're very, very tempting. Dior, I saw this year, has this Addict Shine lipstick case for $30, which in the scheme of things, when you're talking about luxury beauty, doesn't really break the bank. It's not the highest we've ever seen for luxury beauty products. But I was asking myself when I saw this, who buys this? Who is this for? Is this a yearly thing, like a collector's piece that they do every year that I've just never noticed? If you know, let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely asking that. But you also do need to have the Addict lipstick to go with it, which is $45, thus making this lipstick in your purse a $75 item, which I think is pretty crazy. Now, I tried to find out if this case fit the Dior lip glow too, and I couldn't find out if it was interchangeable or not. If you know that, let me know in the comments too. So that led me down this rabbit hole on Dior's website. I was dumbfounded, jaw on the floor, when I saw the prices of these limited edition items that clearly no one needs, but I'm going to tell you about them just in case. So we have this Dior Rouge Premier Couture lipstick. This is a refillable lipstick in a precious ceramic case that retails for $580. The lipstick formula is infused with 24 karat gold and a revitalizing red hibiscus flower extract, and the case is a ceramic 18 karat gold dipped metal case and is the work of a collaboration between the House of Dior and the French artisanal workshop of Bernardaud. I do not know if I'm saying that right, but they have perfected the art of handcrafted Limoges porcelain since 1863. So this is supposed to be an authentic piece to pass down through generations, but what gets me is that it is a ceramic lipstick case. If you are actually using this, if you drop it on the floor or even on a table, it is toast, and you've spent $580 on it. I could not get over that. We also have, same collection, the Rouge Premier Mirror, which is a pocket mirror that retails for $340, as well as a lip brush for $185. So in case you didn't already know, I'm here to tell you that you don't need any of these. There may be someone out there who has everything, and although these are pretty and luxurious, who really needs these? This is craziness. I feel like you know it's bad when Chanel's limited edition glass lipstick refillable case is roughly 3 times less expensive. So Chanel has one too. It's inspired by the mirrors that line the legendary Art Deco staircase in Gabrielle Chanel's Paris apartment. 31 Le Rouge is supposed to be the most irresistible packaging in the history of Chanel lipstick. So for only $195, you can get a satin lipstick in this beautiful faceted square glass case. Again, we have a glass case. If you drop it, I feel it will be disastrous. These are clearly not products for your everyday person with a budget, but they're out there and I just had to share them. These are not things that you need to buy, that you need to budget for. These are for the person who has everything, clearly. Danessa Myricks launched her Lightwork 5 I Am Eye and Face palette, which is a really colorful palette full of various shades in different shimmer textures. There are 18 shades in 6 different textures and it retails for $125. This is a really pretty palette. It looks like it's a lot of fun and I think there are going to be a lot of people that really love this palette. But when I look at that $125 price point, I have to ask myself, how often am I really going to reach for this palette? Even if this has tremendous quality, how often are these shades going to come into play in my everyday life? If you're someone who wears a lot of shimmers, because that's all that's in this palette, and if you're someone who likes a lot of color, this is going to be a palette for you. But if you're not, but you think you want to be, and you think this palette might turn you into that person, if you're mostly a neutrals person, this is probably not going to be the palette for you, and I would tell you to hold off on spending that money. And maybe her Groundwork palette is a better purchase for you with the matte neutrals in different textures. I actually have this out because I'm putting it in another video that I'm filming either today or tomorrow. I do think it's a really pretty palette. I just don't think it's the most practical palette for those of us who wear neutrals on a daily basis. I'm fairly certain I'm one of the only beauty reviewers that decided not to pick up the new Hourglass limited edition ambient lighting edit unlocked palettes this year, despite how tempted I was with the packaging. I have last year's, I have 2 others, and I kind of feel like if you have one, you have them all. You don't really need another. Not only that, but I have single blushes. I have the powders, I have couple of bronzers from Hourglass. And while it is nice to have everything in one palette for travel or for convenience, once you have one palette, you don't need another. That is the position that I and many people are in, but we see that packaging and we get so tempted because it's really, really pretty. I'm an animal lover and they got all artsy with the animals on the cover. But in reality, where are these palettes going to be? They're going to be in a drawer, in a cabinet, in a bag. We're not going to be hanging them on our wall. So I'm going to urge you to listen to your practical side here. This would be great if you don't already have this type of palette from Hourglass. But if you do, I'm going to say, don't just get this for the packaging. That's how they suck us in every single year. I almost caved this year. I'm very proud of myself. I didn't. Now, because it's kind of the same thing, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this new limited edition NARS All That Glitters Light Reflecting Cheek Palette. This is stunning. I love the packaging of the NARS limited edition items. I feel like my lights are kind of washing it out, so I'll try and put a different picture here. But it's white, these gold sparkles, and then this white acrylic overlay. It's just really, really pretty. The formula of NARS Light Reflecting Blushes is really nice. I really do like it. If you have NARS blush singles, you know what I'm talking about. NARS makes some really, really nice blushes. But if you have another NARS palette, you don't need this. You're not getting that much variety from it. I have the NARS Afterglow palette that was released, was this last year, sitting on my vanity. I reach for it pretty often, and you know, it's not that much different. If this fills a hole for you to where you just really want to try NARS blushes, if you want to have them all in one spot, that's one thing, but please don't buy this just for the packaging, especially if you already have a NARS blush palette, because this is not going to give you something vastly different. I could keep going on, but I'm going to leave it there for now. If you want to see another video like this, let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to check out my thoughts on the latest Shiseido foundation and how it performs on my skin and on mature skin in general, check out this video. I hope you enjoyed this and found it helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and if you enjoy everyday beauty made easy, because that's what we do here on my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.